Right, we're ready. Jackson, age and pronouns, please.
Yeah, you
Age
say
and,
something.
age and pronouns, please.
Age,
And pronouns.
yeah, 26. Pronouns, a man.
Pronouns.
He.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Uh, Third.
What do you want to say about it?
What?
What would you like to say about it?
Uh, um, that's believable. What men aren't are providers? Who else is going to be? Men are not the protectors or providers. Who are?
Why does there need to be any? Why does that have to be encapsulated
Because,
by a gender?
well, it would be. You are joking. If there's me and my girlfriend inside the house and someone comes in,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
she's
whoa.
not going to the door, is she?
Whoa, why are we doing a hypothetical? Let's not make out that men need to rely on hypotheticals to show how men are protectors, right? Because otherwise you'd be able to give an
It's not
example.
hypothetical.
So how many times is
It's
your
not
man
hypothetical. This actually happened.
how many times in your
This is
lifetime?
experience.
How many
Yeah, in
times
my lifetime, yeah.
how many times in your lifetime have you been broken into?
Quite a few.
That's not what I asked. How many?
3.
Three. And how old are you?
I said 26.
Right, so in 26 years, you think that
Yeah.
the way that men are protectors is because of something that happened 3 times to you in your life. That's not a big demonstration of how you've been protecting people for 26 years, is it? When you're giving an example of something that happened 3 times.
It's an example, though, isn't it? That's what you wanted.
No, I want an example of how men are protecting on a daily basis, not something that's happened 3 times.
No, I gave you one. I gave you the example.
So I'll
That's the
reword it.
daily basis
I'll,
that you
I'll,
asked for.
no, it's not, because it hasn't happened on a daily basis. It's
It does.
happened
All right.
all the
Like
time.
on a daily basis, if we're on the street and someone's harassing a woman, that a man is going to get up there, isn't he? Like it's not going to be women like trying to defend her and fight for her, is it?
So
Let's keep it real.
I'll repeat my question again, because I don't know how else I can ask it. What are men doing on a daily basis that is protecting
I
women?
told you. I just told you. You got to listen, innit?
No, I'm listening to a
I
lot
told.
of BS.
Repeat
Right
what
now.
I said. Repeat what I
No,
said.
a man harassing a woman?
No, no.
Is that
I
happening?
said if men were harassing women on the street, it wouldn't be women coming to fight
So you
for that
didn't
woman.
answer
It
my
would be a
question.
man.
So you didn't answer my question.
What's your question? What's your question?
How are men on a daily basis protecting women? The only
They're
example.
protecting their own women. If they
How?
had to, they would protect them, right?
If. So if you say the word if, that
Or
means
when? No, no, no.
happening.
Not if. When?
And your
When?
when is 3 times in 26 years.
Forget my when. There's more than me.
Oh, so now your anecdotal experience isn't relevant. You thought it was relevant to bring in earlier.
No, I use that because I'm a man, and there's a million men. There's billions of men out here, aren't there?
Well, and that's happening to billions of men, what, 3 times in
Yes,
20?
I'm sure they've been raised that way, and they will go and protect a woman. Yes.
3 times in 26 years.
Yeah, 3 times in 26 years, all men around the world will do that. Yeah.
Right. So again, men are not protecting on a daily basis. They're protecting.
No, they are. They literally are. I can't be everywhere at the same time. I can't be everywhere at the same time. I've given you an example. You don't like it. Listen, I've given you an example. You don't like it. America, Africa, Asia.
Stop over talking. It's not about disliking your answer. It's that you haven't answered it. You think you have, but you're not listening to my question.
Mute your mic.
My question is on a daily
Mute your mic.
basis. What do you think you're doing here? Seriously.
Mute your mic.
If you're not going to engage properly, leave. Thank you. Unbelievable. But just so that everyone knows, by the way, that was your protector. To the women in the chat, that's your protector right there. So if this was your partner, if this was your partner, then 3 times in 26 years. User 887, that's an embarrassing comment, isn't it? Men are really showing themselves up today. That's embarrassing. Tellal, age and pronouns, please.
Hello.
Age and pronouns, please.
Thank you for having me. I'm male and he. Oh, sorry, 31 and he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Man. Sorry.
Which prompt do you disagree with?
All right. Well, the conversation you just had, I was just wondering, why does it have to be every day? And to that, I would also say the military and the police.
Perfect. So the reason,
And I would add to that. Oh, sorry.
the reason it has to happen every day is because men picking and choosing when they may or may not protect based on hypotheticals is no different to women saying the same thing and doing it too, which means it's not something exclusive to men, right? A man saying, if someone breaks into my house, is equivalent to me saying, what if someone breaks into your house when you're not there and your partner is? She's going to be the one to take care of it. So unless you're assuming that she couldn't, then you're not there every minute of every day to actually uphold that protection. So every hypothetical that men give is on the basis that the man is there and on the basis that they actually fulfill that protective role in that moment. So hypotheticals don't give us reality. That's just ifs and buts and maybes, right?
No, they're designed to test your logic. And the logical thing is that only a man necessarily has to be a man and only men can. Not all men can, but only men can.
From a traditional role of gender, men, has their traditional role always been to be protectors and providers?
You mean in history? Yeah, sure, yes.
So that's the point, right? Is that they're not. They're not protectors and providers, because if men are giving me an example of how they are, and they're going to give me an example of something that happened 3 times in 26 years, that does not make you a protector. That's ridiculous.
Okay,
Sorry. Let's move on to your point about the military and police force. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Well, can I just say before we move on? Sorry. 3 times at the age of 26. That's quite a lot, I gotta say. Like, don't you think that's a lot? I'm just saying, I think if I was broken into 3 times by the age of 12, like I'm 31 now, like that would probably have scarred me for life. And if I was a woman, I would have been pretty glad to have had a man to defend me, and I would say thank you. And what I'm hearing right now is just like, oh, but you can't protect
I think women would be glad that the man who tried to break in didn't do it in the first place.
Yeah, but that's not the world we live in. There's true evil. There really is.
So again, men being protectors is not the world we live in as well. Yeah, that's my point. Men are not protectors if they're also being perpetrators of harm.
Okay, but I hear what you're saying, but I really disagree, because if there is no man there to protect, then the woman, like in 99% of the cases, can't do anything.
Ooh, so that's a lie. That's misinformation. Don't just make up 99% of times they can't do anything. You're making out that women are just like this inferior individual who are never capable of doing anything. That's misogyny in itself. Secondly, once again, if men weren't causing harm, there would be no need to quote unquote protect. So
you're right.
So don't try and make out that men protecting is a great thing. Men are only striving to be protectors by fulfilling the role if men are violent in the first place. That doesn't make sense.
That's true, but that does make sense.
It doesn't make sense because essentially, if the role of a man is to be a protector, they can only fulfill that role if men are causing harm. So
that's true.
So men need men to be dangerous to then be able to claim to be a protector. That's ridiculous. Let's move on to your military point, right? So your military point. I live in the UK. Do you live in the US?
No, I live next to you, to the east, in Denmark.
Okay, so in the UK, 0.23% of men in the UK are in the military. 0.46% of men.
And so what? What's your point with that?
Well, maybe if you stayed quiet and let me finish, you hear it.
Sorry, mate.
Because then I'm sure it won't be you laughing at the end when you realize how ridiculous.
I didn't mean any disrespect. Come on, I won't laugh again.
You can laugh if you want. I'm just saying that's the representation of how you are on the live, right? Because you've made a ridiculous point that is laughable, and I'm going to show that. 0.46% of men are in the police force. Less than that are also in firefighters, if you want to add that on top as well. So if less than 1% of men in the UK are in those protective roles, Are you saying that that's okay to then say the other 99% of men are protectors because of less than 1% of men doing those things?
Yeah, that's like
No, no,
not all men can, but only men can.
I don't need a comparison. I'm asking you if that's okay to do because that's what you've done. You're saying that less than 1% of men are in those protective roles, so we can say men as a general are protectors because of that. Is that
How
true?
many men do you think could fill that role of those 99%?
There wouldn't
If they
be
had
enough.
to.
There wouldn't be enough. Well, then why men would be signing up all the time, but they're not because
No, the point is not that they not are, it's that they can and women cannot.
Actually, no, women can. Women are in the military.
Yeah, in very, very.
So again, stop deflecting and avoiding and answer the question. Is it okay to then assume the other 99% of men are protectors on the basis of 1%?
Yes.
Right. So now we're just getting onto how ridiculous you are. Yeah. Like one. You think
Come on, I haven't insulted you. Come
hold
on.
on. By your logic, right? We can then say men are predators because more than 1% of men cause harm to women, girls, and femme-presenting people.
Wow. Yeah, what about
can we
not
say
all
that?
women
Hold
can
on,
have
hold on.
babies, but
Hold on.
only women can have babies.
Hold on. Can we say that? Stop
Not
deflecting.
all women, but only women can.
Last chance, or you're getting dropped. Stop deflecting.
You're the one deflecting, bro.
Goodbye. You can't
Goodbye.
have a proper conversation. God, these men are unbelievable. Seriously. Whenever they get stuck, whenever they get caught, what do? Let's try and blame women. It's the same old every single time. Textbook. Kitty, hello, welcome.
Hi, Kai42, she, her. Just a reminder, chat. I know it's very triggering. I know it's very frustrating. Everything we're hearing. It is an anti-misogyny live. You are going to hear misogynistic rhetoric. Please protect your peace. What we're not going to have is threats of harm towards people up on the panel or anything like that. It's vile. Okay, stop. You're just going to get muted and blocked out of the space. We've been live, less than 20 minutes, and we've already had to block people for transphobia, racism, threats of harm, and more. Stop, okay? This is an educational live, it's not a pile-on. We know it's triggering. We know. Don't act like the mods don't know. We know how triggering it is. We are not exceptions to this. We are also people who have been harmed and are continually harmed. Just like other people in this community as well. Okay? But please try and lead with respect and remember why we're here. Simple as that. Right, I'm done. Bye.
Thanks, Kitty. Bye-bye. James, agent pronouns. RC, leave. You've been blocked from here before. Don't come on a different account. You know you're not wanted here with your rhetoric. Matters, agent pronouns, please.
Hello.
Oh yeah, agent pronouns, please.
In my 30s, I'm a he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
I don't disagree. I just like you to explain what each of them are.
All of
So
them?
you're saying, yeah, all of them. You said the friend zone doesn't exist. I don't understand.
Sure, so any dynamic that you think a friend zone does exist in, I'm saying there's a behavior or an emotion that exists that hasn't been dealt with. And men choosing to call that a friend zone is deflecting and avoiding the issue. So therefore they are avoiding accountability.
So any relationship that it does exist, it's due to the men. Or it's due to a behavior, sorry, that is existing in a relationship. Sorry, repeat that for me. I didn't grasp it.
How about you tell me what a friend zone looks like to you, and then I can explain how it wouldn't actually be a friend zone.
A friend zone is when a male and a female they want to remain friends, but not romantically.
They don't want to remain friends.
No, they want to, but they don't want to be romantic. They don't want to pursue a romantic relationship. So then they put each other in a friend zone.
No, they're just friends.
Okay.
Just a
Okay.
friend. That's just a friendship. Like,
Okay, cool.
are you interested in men, women, neither or both?
I'm interested in women.
Okay, so you have in your life that are like you and your friends who are men, you're not interested in each other romantically, but you're in a friendship, right?
Yes, true.
Okay.
but I don't feel like men and women can actually be friends.
You don't think men and women can be friends?
Well,
Wow,
I
that's
do,
a problem.
I do, but then it's up to like a point. But yeah, I do get it. That word is there. That I understand that word. Okay,
Why
then
can't
listen.
men and women be friends?
They can, they can, they can, they can.
You said up
Okay.
until a point. What point?
Um, let's move on because I don't want to. I like. Let's move on. The body count doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you have an issue with a woman's body count?
I would say it does affect how well the. I do. If the body, it depends on how big the body count is what I'm saying. I believe.
So what is your issue with a woman's body count?
Um, it
Why would it bother you?
it shows how much you view those interactions with people, like how I wouldn't say respect, but how much value you place on those interactions. Some people place little value, and some people place a high value. So if you got a high body count, it suggests that you don't place that much value on that type of interaction. Whereas if you have a low body count, it seems as something that you probably value more.
So an assumption.
Yes.
Okay. So when we make assumptions about this, we have to understand where it comes from. And I think that if a man has an issue with a woman's body count, it's rooted in misogyny or insecurities. For me, this sounds like it's triggering an insecurity in you, that you think that she's placing a value on body count that means that it's different to yours and therefore the relationship won't work.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying that insecurities or misogyny is what body count is rooted in as a judgment. It's your interpretation of what that body count means to you, which doesn't necessarily mean it's factual. So if you met a woman and her body count was 5, and while you were getting to know her, you thought, do you know what, this person's really nice. I like, hanging around with her. Maybe there's a bit of flirting, maybe you've been intimate, similar interests, etc. You might want to see her again, and you might continue to date each other, and then that can turn into a great relationship because it doesn't say anything about her. The body count doesn't say that she's any more or less honest, more or less respectful, more or less open, more or less communicative. Like, the body count doesn't have any of these, interpretations of that.
Okay, but let's say if her body count was like 100 or 200,
Yeah, sure.
then like I feel like human beings, like life is based on their experiences, and it's like if you've had that many experiences with people, how is it's not a great indicator of like your value on I'd say friendship or like I was saying, yeah.
But again, if she's had Schmecks 100 times, how does that change who she is as a person when you're sitting there talking to her and getting to know her? Like, if you didn't know her body count was 100, you'd be talking to her like any other woman that you'd be interested in dating, right? You'd be being yourself, you'd be asking questions to get to know her. And if you don't ask the question, what's your body count, then you'd be getting to know her for who she is as an individual.
But those kind of things you don't really, people don't really say when you're first meeting them, and it takes
Exactly.
time. It takes time to get to know somebody.
Exactly. So my
And
point is, if you're getting to know her without having that information, and you continue getting to know her, right? There's a reason why you have continued to date her. You have kept coming back for another date and meeting up for another date because there was something there that you liked, something there that you wanted to, work on or develop on.
okay, true. Yes, I do understand that. But then when you're wanting to go, I say more into a deeper relationship, I guess with somebody, that might be an underlying factor, though. Like it's like I'm saying,
Why?
like,
Why does why does Schmecks have to mean that you've gone deeper into the relationship?
No, I'm saying I'm not talking about smacks. I'm talking about, let's say if you want to like it's a case of like loyalty and values. Like if you're doing that with so many different people, I'm pretty sure every single one of those people that you had 100, like, I think the statistics is you can't have more than 150 close friends, right? That's like, and that's like, what am I gonna say?
Do you think that a woman with a higher body count is less trustworthy?
I would have to know the person first.
Do you think that someone with a higher body count has a poorer sense of humor?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
Do you think someone with a high body count has, I don't know, is less respectful as an individual?
No.
Okay, so you recognize how like a lot of these characteristics and traits would be things that not everyone, but people would potentially be looking for in a potential partner. They'd be looking to see how they treat people, how they respect, how they show respect, how they engage in conversations. Thank you. Those are things that help you to get closer to an individual because that trust is formed based on the way that they behave around you. If they're being respectful to you, they're being kind to you, if they're showing, you know, honesty and trustworthiness, then that is something you two are forming together, regardless of her body count. And I'm saying if you have that information and that does something for you, then you have potentially started to think of reasons as to why this won't work. The insecurity is kicking in that because she's had schmecks with, I don't know, 100 people, you now think what, that you might be another number? Or you think that she's, and this is the part where you have to kind of finish that sentence, is what do you think that now means for, let's say you've been getting to know each other for 2 months, right? What does it now mean after 2 months when you find that information out?
Yeah, you're right. I understand I understand it. It's just, I think it's down to preference. It's just not something that, I understand you're saying that it could be due to your insecurities and you don't want to be another number. Or I don't want to be another, I don't want to be another number.
But we have to, okay, that's fine if you don't want to be another number, but the question is, do you think you're going to be another number? Because when you say that it's preferences, we don't let men get away with using that word here, because men hide behind that word as if it's okay to say that they have a preference on something without explaining how they came to the conclusion that that's your preference in the first place. Preferences are rooted in something, right? So if I have 2 fruits and I prefer one of them, I can give a reason as to why. If you have a preference for a lower body count, you have to explain the reasons why to help people understand why you would maybe not want to be with someone with a higher body count. Because what a lot of men do is project that the woman who has a higher body count is the problem. Her decisions are the issue, she is the issue. Rather than men sort of saying, actually, it's because I know that I would not be capable of connecting with someone because my insecurity would stop me. It would prevent me from trusting someone. It would prevent me from thinking I'm just another number. That's then ownership of the insecurity. So preferences are fine if you can understand and explain the roots of them.
Yeah, I understand. Also, you could say, in regards to the 2 fruits, you could say you like one just because it tastes better. Like, personally, it tastes better to you.
But that's the reason, right? So now you have to give the reason why you prefer to be with a woman with a lower body count. What's the reason?
Prefer them to be with a woman with a lower body count because they're better. It's like, I don't know, they're better than the ones with a higher body count.
Because?
Good question.
This is the sticking point, right? This is where the unpacking begins. The unpacking begins when we recognize that you've come to the conclusion that that's your preference, but haven't unpacked the reasons why. So you're holding on to a belief and you don't even know why. So what you're doing, something is telling you to disregard women that have a body count over a certain number, and you don't even know the reason why. I think deep down you do, but you might not want to say it.
Okay, I could say that females that
Women
have a higher body count
Not
are
females.
usually associated with people that do that type of work for a profession.
But that's an assumption, that's not a fact.
Yes, but I'm saying that's why. That's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, okay,
It's
so
a- it's
again, your assumption is not factual. So therefore you are making up stories to justify your preference. A woman who's had schmecks 30 times does not necessarily mean she hangs around with schmecks workers. So again, what you're doing is assuming, and
It's
if you're
associated though. It's associated with it.
oh, Sorry, you're saying that she would be compared to a Schmex worker.
Yeah.
Why would that bother you if you don't view her that way?
Because
If you know she's not a Schmex worker, why would that bother you?
because the main thing is what people you don't want to come into contact with someone that you believe has been with your person in an intimate way and kind of says that they know your person like more than you do.
So let's rephrase that. You don't want that.
Yes, yeah, I don't want to, yeah. Let's say
Fine.
that I wouldn't want that.
So now we're starting to unpack it. That's the insecurity. The insecurity is that you don't want other men to be able to have a conversation with you that involves them having a sexual experience with your partner. That bothers you too much. That's what insecurity is that you wouldn't feel secure enough in your relationship to be able to say to those men, okay, so what? I'm in a relationship with her now. Respectfully, that's not something I want to talk to you about. So that conversation comes to an end. But for you, actually, you would feel bothered by it. You'd feel affected by it because maybe you think you'd be mocked or ridiculed, or maybe you think these other men would, say something that would be uncomfortable for you to hear. So again, we come back to realizing it's not her fault. It's not her issue that she's chosen to have Schmex X amount of times. It's your insecurity. And that's where you have to take the accountability and ownership of that.
And yeah, true, I understand that. I personally wouldn't be too bothered about it, but I'm saying that if you go with somebody with a less body count, you can avoid those type of situations. You're less likely to encounter that.
So I'm going to ask you something, right? Because this is kind of like the classic case of the tree in the forest. Have you ever heard of that like analogy?
Yeah, you can't hear when a tree falls down in a forest or something.
Yeah, well, it's like, does it mean it did or didn't? Like, does it mean it didn't fall down if you can't hear it and it happened?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing, right? It's like you not wanting to be with someone because they might have had a sexual experience with someone that you meet or bump into. How are you going to always be able to avoid it, right? It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Just bear with me 1 minute. The Rammer is inquiring about the cuck chair. Sorry. The Rammer, I've got your seat here for you, buddy. Just drop me a DM. It's got a seatbelt. You can fasten it. Give me a message for your inquiry, and just we'll give you front row seats. So sorry, Matters. As I was saying, that's what you need to bear in mind, right? Is like just because you haven't necessarily bumped into that individual doesn't mean that it didn't happen. They've still potentially had schmecks with other people.
Okay.
And what I'm saying by that is just because you don't bump into the person, it doesn't mean that your insecurity about it isn't still there. So let's say she had a body count of 2 and you did bump into someone who had schmecks with her and they tell you all about it or whatever, right? That insecurity will be triggered. You won't like hearing it. So my point is the insecurity is still there. You just haven't bumped into anyone to trigger it. That's the issue.
Yeah, 100%. But if it's 2 or 5, then like out of the 7 billion people or the people that are working on the face of Earth, that it's less likely to happen, right?
Yeah, but if you're talking about numbers, do you really think 100 scratches the surface on 7 billion as well?
True, but true. You're true, but it's less like.
But you're ignoring the point that's being made specifically, which is you being less likely to bump into them doesn't mean the insecurity still isn't there.
I hear it.
Equivalent of that is this: I've got a fear of heights, but if I don't have to go and climb the ladder, then that doesn't trigger my fear.
True.
So do you know what I mean? It's like if I don't have to do it, fine. So similar to you, if you don't want to date a woman with a high body count, that's fine, but it's because you recognize that there are triggers that might happen within you that will, insecurities that will be triggered if those scenarios played out where you bumped into someone.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks for that. I don't understand what's Miss Andrew? I've never heard of Miss Andrew.
That matters. I've got a few other people waiting to join, so
Okay,
I'm going to
no
switch up
problem.
from
Thank
here.
you.
Please do stay though, because if there's any questions you've got on the others, other people might ask them. Okay, so if you want to listen in, that's fine. I'm live twice a day, and you're more than welcome to come back. All right.
Thank you. Thanks. Take care.
All right. Take care, man. Bye bye. Right. Let's go with Ryan. Age and pronouns, please.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Can I get your age and pronouns?
So the statement about body count doesn't matter. That's an entirely subjective and
Can I get your age
non-objective
and pronouns
statement.
first, please?
68.
Your pronouns?
Whatever they want, you want them to be.
Okay, that's not up to me. So, what are your pronouns, please?
Me, myself, and I. So the body count thing, that's a
Okay, thank you. I said last chance or I'll drop you, so it's not difficult to answer. Alex, no. Alex. Sorry, Carlo. Carlo, come back in a second, buddy. Alex is connected. Alex, age and pronouns, please.
Hey, I am 20 and my pronouns are he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Honestly, I feel like I've gotten into like men aren't protectors in the past, so I want to talk about the providers aspect. I don't think, like, let me explain my reasoning. I don't really think that's fully true, as all the time I'm like on this app or even Instagram, like more like browsing. I mean, not browsing, but like I'm browsing through my For You page, seeing people talk about like, oh, men have to like, provide. They have to like protect their woman and like make sure that like she's safe and that like, like if she does not want to work, if she doesn't feel like it, you should be able to give her that lifestyle to where she can be at home, just cook and clean, take care of her like children, to where you can provide, pay all the bills and stuff. And I see a lot of examples of this. So to say that like men are not the main ones providing for their wives, like it doesn't make much sense. Because here's what I will say. I'll give you this. Nowadays, I mean, women do dominate college attendance and graduation rates, to where nowadays like the average man like likely will make as much as like the average woman, considering they like graduate more. But like if anyone is like providing more, like considering like gender wage gap and stuff, and considering there's more men that are millionaires and billionaires way more than women, I mean, like you would more likely see more of them be like the ones providing for like their wives and children. That's just like what I've noticed and what I feel about it.
So I think the issue is that so you believe that men should be providing for their partner.
Oh, if anyone should be providing, it should be them. Yeah. There doesn't have to be a provider. They can do 50-50, but if anyone was to.
But I think that's the point, right? The point is choice. So like encouraging the choice before everyone to choose what they want to do is one thing. Projecting that onto everyone that there is a right way to live your life as a man, woman, or individual is not something that I think is healthy when it's upholding gender roles. Because gender roles...
Yeah, well, that's debatable. But, I mean, hey, if that's what you believe, then that's what you believe.
I think gender roles are more harmful than helpful, yeah.
Okay, but how does that have anything to do with them not being providers?
Because how are men providers? The only way they've ever described themselves as providers is financially. And financially, the only way they were able to provide was through oppressing women and girls and making sure that they couldn't work anyway. So if women never actually...
I mean, most guys didn't put women in those positions, though.
It doesn't matter whether it's most. The fact is the men that did meant that the rest of the men could still benefit from it, and therefore women weren't able to. So it's still men that are responsible, and then men benefited from the system, having that huge head start of, dominating society to the point where any types of jobs that you had out there, men were more likely to get them than women. Men had the experience, men had the finances, men had the power, men had the rights, men had the laws. Men pretty much controlled.
I mean, they still do.
Exactly. So my point is that whilst things are becoming more equal in areas, it still doesn't remove the fact that claiming to be a provider on the basis it was done through oppressing women is not really something that I think men should be standing on as a way of anything to brag about.
Okay, well, let me just say this. I feel like most of the dudes that like would have no problem like providing for the woman, or like if they're the ones that would go 50-50 regardless, like most guys like would not be vouching for the dudes to like force women to do that and basically have no rights, but to do only that. They couldn't have their bank accounts. They couldn't really openly talk in politics because like men were the ones doing everything. I mean, most guys like wouldn't really like view that as something that should be ongoing, forcefully speaking, like forcefully wise.
Those men also collectively didn't do anything to try and stop it. It had to be women that started fighting for their rights to make enough noise, to make enough change for them to be taken seriously. Men didn't take the initiative of doing that. They just benefited from patriarchy. And
I mean, they did benefit, but they also did like let me just say this. I remember doing a project a few months ago about something similar to this. Like it was like I actually realized that like some women like they weren't even like fighting to like be free from it. They were fighting, they were trying to like stay in their same position, and some dudes like actually cared to be like, no, this isn't right. They shouldn't have to be here. Like I remember literally doing a project on this.
Okay. Let me bring Kitty in. Hi, Kitty.
Hi, Kitty42, she, her. I've just kind of had some information, so there's just a couple of questions I want to ask to Alex. Alex, are trans women women?
No, they're men.
Right, there we go. Done. Drop, please.
We can get a block on Alex if that's okay. Because
Yeah, they've been homophobic and transphobic in Dinedo's live as well.
Thank you to the chat, whoever
Thank you, chat.
brought that information. Thank you, Kitty, for coming up to address that.
Yeah, no worries. Also, thank you, Staples, and the rest of the chat. I was just acting upon their information. Bye.
Sorry, I've got the watermelon all over my fingers. Thank you so much.
Too much info. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Watermelon. Right, I did say who was here earlier that they've gone away now. Okay. AP, age and pronouns, please. No, okay. Let's try again. I was trying to be clever then because that person's name was try again. Welcome, Amara. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. MB, age and pronouns, please.
Yo, hello.
MB,
19.
hold on, MB, come back in a second. Sorry, because try again was first, so you can come back up in a second. Try again, age and pronouns, please.
I'm 22, and I'm a man.
And your pronouns?
I'm a male.
And your pronouns?
What's pronouns?
He, him, she, her, they, them.
I don't know. What would you say? What would you say I am? I'm a man. Like, I don't understand he, him. I don't.
If I was
I don't get
talking
it.
about you, would I say he went to the park, they went to the park, she went to the park? What would
He
be the
went to
correct
the park.
He, so your pronouns he. Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
I disagree basically with the body count doesn't matter, and men are not the protector and the provider.
Sure. Can you explain to me
And
how?
what's your pronouns?
My pronouns are he, him. Thank you for asking. Can you explain to me
him,
how
okay.
men are protecting on a daily basis?
What men are protecting?
No, how? How are men protecting on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, if I had a kid and if I had the children, basically I will protect them from everything, you know?
So with the woman, that's not something then that's just exclusive to men. So therefore, women are the protectors, yeah?
Why don't you think that body count doesn't matter?
Have we skipped over the protectors already? Was it
Why do you think that body count doesn't matter?
It doesn't tell you anything factual about who the person is.
Yes. I wanted to. Why do you think that body count doesn't matter?
It doesn't tell you anything factual about who the person is.
What I think about basically about the body count. I don't want my woman basically when I'm getting married that she has been with a lot of men. It doesn't make sense to me that why should I treat this woman good? And the problem is if there's.
You should treat your partner good regardless of whether she's had schmex with other men or not. Why would that change the way you?
Yeah, 100%. But I don't want to marry a woman that how can I say that she has been around and you just don't get it. Okay.
No, I don't. Why would that be an issue that she has had schmex with men before you? Why does that bother you?
Women cannot fall in love more than two times. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's news to me. Can you explain to me how you were able to come to a scientific conclusion on that?
100%, mate. So what I'm trying to tell you, basically, when women just can't fall in love more than 1, 2, 3 times. That's it. And
What
if
about
she
four?
already has been in love, then she cannot take any other man serious.
Wait,
So
what about
even
four?
when
What about four
So
times?
even-
You said 1, 2, 3. 4?
no,
Not 4.
no 4. And then
What if she fell in love with 3 men but never had schmecks with them?
like had a match with them.
No. Schmecks. Sex. What if she fell in love 3 times with 3 different men but never had sex with them? Now what?
There is nothing wrong with her, and I don't tell there is not
But then
that.
she could fall in love with 4, 5, 6.
No, I don't think that she can, because she will still be attached to the first one, and when love, and basically love has nothing to do with the sex, yeah.
You just said that if a woman has a body count because she's had schmecks before, then she can't fall in love with 1, 2, 3 men.
These two are two different things, okay?
You brought love into it. I'm talking about body count, and then you said she's not going to be able to love more than 1, 2, 3 men.
I would love to explain these things to you if you just sit and listen, okay?
Sure, I'd love to. I'm all ears. It's quite simple. That's fine.
Basically, what I'm trying to say, that why does body count matter? Body count matter. Let's say if she had sex with many men before, she still has a lot of those men's DNA inside her. Okay? Yeah.
Sorry, where does the DNA go?
The DNA stays inside her for the rest of her life.
Does it?
Yes, it
You
does.
know, it's funny you say that. I literally did a video on that today. Have you seen it?
It's my first time coming to this live. I have never seen it.
Can I encourage you to go and watch a video that I did today, right? Which talks about the way that the DNA of men's sperm stays inside women for the rest of her life. I encourage you to watch it. It gives you all the information you need to know about whether or not that's true. Okay?
Okay, I will do that. Okay, 100%.
Okay, go and have a look at it and then come back and let me know what you think. Okay?
I think if I go now, I will not be coming back. Okay.
Oh, so you don't want to learn. Okay, we're here for men that want to learn. All right?
Anyway, yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you. No name history. Age and pronouns, please.
Hi,
Hello? Age and pronouns, please.
I'm 47 and I'm woman, she, her. I will not take a long of your time, but I just wanted.
We're looking, thank you. We're looking for men who disagree. It does say at the bottom of the prompt. James, age and pronouns, please. Oh, MB, I'm so sorry. I did say I'd bring you back up. My bad. Sorry.
I was going to say you promised me to go up early.
Age and pronouns.
My pronouns are he, him, obviously. So, obviously, I actually agree with quite a lot of these points on here. But I've just got like one question to ask, and that is
Can I get your age? Can I get your age? Sorry.
19. Right.
Yeah, question.
So, do you think women are like, you obviously think they're capable of defending themselves, which I think they are as well, right? Do you think they're capable for speaking for themselves?
Women do speak for themselves, yeah.
So why do you feel the need to do this?
I'm not.
It's just a bit ironic, isn't it?
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm speaking.
But it
to
is what
men.
you're doing.
Hold on.
You can't say you're informing men about it because you're a man yourself.
I'm talking to men about their misogyny. So when men have certain.
So you've got an issue with masculinity and you need to push it onto other people. Not every man belittles a woman.
MB, I didn't need to mention the word masculinity for a start.
With misogyny.
Misogyny. Yeah, so men need to unpack their misogyny. So when they disagree with some of these prompts, their misogyny reveals in the reasons they give. So that's what I do. I educate them to help them understand why their reasons are rooted in misogyny. That's got nothing to do with women speaking about it. That's me talking to a man about his misogyny.
Do you like foreplay?
Is that what you're attempting now?
No.
Okay. So why are you deflecting? I don't understand.
I'm not deflecting.
All this is doing is just kind of showing that you don't really care and you're just here to try and be a bit silly.
Just talk.
That's not what this is about.
Well, yeah, it is, because you're having conversations with the people who join.
No, it's unpacking their misogyny. We're not talking about foreplay.
What do you mean unpacking their misogyny though? Like, why do you feel the need to do that? I feel like you will have some misogynistic traits, but you just won't show them.
I think all men do. Yeah, that's the point of
That's
educating.
fine,
them.
so don't act like you're any better than anyone else.
I do
That's
that.
what it seems like. That seems like
When did I do that? You're the one
it
at the
just
moment.
seems like that's a narrative that you're pushing, that you're more informed than any other man on this
Where have I
show.
done that? Where have I done
So
that?
much to the need that you have to go live on TikTok for it.
Well, how else am I going to talk to that many men?
Well, go out in public.
Why do I need to do that when I've got a platform here? You're the one that sounds really triggered right now, MB. I don't understand.
I'm not triggered. I'm just frustrated, man. I'm struggling to get the right words to my head, and that's okay. That's okay.
Frustration. That's what I'm saying. It's triggered something. in you.
That's
So
fine. No, it's not triggering. It's just a little frustrating. And I think, and you must admit, everyone gets frustrated every now and then, don't they?
So maybe you should learn to manage that frustration rather than project it onto me.
How do I manage it then? Because that's what you're teaching people. So teach me how do I control it?
Sure. So, have you been to therapy?
No, it's like, why would I pay someone to listen to me like speak and then just assume that they're right?
Assume that they're right. What's their qualification means nothing, does it?
Have you got a qualification in misogyny or something?
No, I'm a psychotherapist. So actually,
Psychotherapist. So is that so psychology? Psychology.
not quite, but sure.
Damn, have you ever watched The Mentalist?
So if you're here to address one of the prompts, go for it. If not, I've got other men that are looking to learn.
Body count does matter.
Okay, explain to me the reasons why.
Most of the time it's because it just goes against social norms with men, and it's unfortunate. It is, but it is true, unfortunately.
You haven't given me a reason as to why it bothers you.
So if you were to be going on a date with no, you don't like hypotheticals, do you? I heard you mention
I
it.
think hypotheticals, if they actually happen, in a way where you are talking about
Yeah,
something.
no, but that guy mentioned his house getting broken into. That can happen to anyone. Just because you might not have experienced it doesn't mean it hasn't happened to
I
anyone.
didn't disagree that it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is you
You said
can't.
it was very. You said it was very rare.
Yeah, if he's talking about 3 times in 26 years, do you not think that's rare? That's quite rare.
Well, I've never been robbed personally, so I think that's 3 more times than I've been robbed. So that's actually quite a lot.
To me, but it's still rare.
It's happened to you.
No, it's 3 more times than it's happened to me, but it's still rare.
So if someone was breaking in, do you have like a wife or anything?
You're still deflecting away from.
No. This will go on to my question. Do you have a wife? Do you have a partner?
I have a partner.
Right. So if 3 masked men broke into your house with weapons, are you sending your partner downstairs?
No, but guess what? I'm not going downstairs either.
Oh. Well, that's.
Can we all take a moment to just recognize something, right? If 3 men with weapons came in, like 3 men with weapons. So not only do we want to give hypotheticals where we're talking about men being the problem, we then want to go and give them weapons on top of that as well. Lex the Cuck, K-Sulk, I'm so glad you mentioned that, buddy. We've already given away 1 chair, but guess what? Rule number 2, K-Sulk, just drop me a DM, all right? You can be the star of the show. Look, there's the star. Oh, right there. Yeah. So yeah, drop me a DM. You can come and pick up this chair whenever you're ready. It's not as soft as the other one. I'm sure I can get you a cushion. Just drop me a message, yeah? And then you can have your chair, buddy. Hello, Kitty.
Oh, I'm getting fed up. Coming up here now. Kitty42 She-Heart. Let me make a few things abundantly clear. If you come in here and start with any transphobic rhetoric, or you at me, or anyone else in here saying, define what is a woman, or anything like that, you're getting muted, immediately blocked. We know the route that you're going down, and it's vile. What we're also not doing is insulting people's intelligence, questioning their intelligence, or anything to do with someone's IQ. That's ableist. If you don't know what that is, please take the time to go and research it. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, but there's a lot of you sat there watching this, going on about the guest time wasting. Many of you are time wasting. okay, with your insults and not keeping it out the chat. Do better. Honestly, it's getting beyond ridiculous. Anyway, right, let's go.
Thank you, Kitty. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, the fact that Kitty has to come up so many times to address the chat, if you are getting a comment from the mods about being ableist, upholding microaggressions, using ad hominems, etc., that's because it's being done to protect the space. If you want to support the live, that's absolutely fine. If you want to come back, that's absolutely fine. But if you're going to uphold harm in different ways, we're not here for that. Infidel, age and pronouns, please.
24 he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
The body count one. But only, I just want to clarify your position. Are you saying like, are you just questioning about people who think it's like immoral to have a high body count, or just those who think that it should be something they consider?
So essentially what I think is, if a man has an issue with a woman's body count, I think it's rooted in misogyny or insecurities, sometimes both. And I think what happens is that gets projected onto body count being a problem without recognizing that it's just their interpretation of what that body count means to them that's the problem. So the body count itself isn't the issue, it's what you think of it that's the issue.
Yeah, like I agree with the sentiment that those who have issues with body count and say, oh, I wouldn't date with them or have preferences for low body count, I think that's a problem. I do agree with that. I only have an argument just to explain why it matters, not why it's unethical. I think that having a high body count is fine, but I think it does matter.
Because?
Is that what you're looking for or not?
Well, again, I'm saying... Like,
okay, so the reason why I think it matters is because I think every time... Oh, sorry. It might be lagging for me.
Tiny bit, but go on, I'll do my best to leave gaps in between when we speak.
Oh, wait, are you talking? Wait, give it... Okay. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you if it's lagging. Okay, so the reason why I think it matters is because every time you have an interaction with an individual, you increase the risk of having unsafe, or in other words, unjustified sex. And I can explain what I mean by that, because that sounds like really obscure, like language. So every time you have sex, you require consent. That's pretty obvious, right? And then also you should consider the type of people you sleep with. And all that means is that it's obviously unethical cases of like cheating on your girlfriend or things like that that are clearly unethical. Just to clarify, you're really laggy for me. I don't know why. I don't know if you can hear me like properly.
What do you mean by unjustified?
It's like everything unjust, like unethical. That's what I mean.
Okay, but that's got nothing to do with body count. If you're going to cheat, that's
The delay is so bad. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going to drop just because the signal is that bad, but moderators have also informed about harmful reposts, so I think we will leave that there.
Hello.
Hello, age and pronouns, please.
He, him, and I'm 20.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
I disagree with the body count. Doesn't matter. You said it's either some form of insecurity or patriarchy, or misogyny. Yeah. So, are you familiar with the multitude of studies that have correlated body count with some sort of negative outcomes within relationship?
So whenever you use the word correlation, that doesn't give us the reason or the cause.
Yeah, but of course there isn't a causation, right? But what I seek to do, right? I'm not sure if you understand what abductive reasoning is increase the probability of a proposition to be true, right? If it's the case that there is multiple studies pointing to that proposition. So it isn't, of course there isn't going to be a causation, right? Most studies can't prove causation, but it's the case that I can increase the probability of and lend credence to the idea that body count can indeed influence.
So if you could put those studies in the chat, that would be great, because we've heard them all before and they've very easily been debunked.
Yeah, so we can start with the social sexuality study. I'm not sure if you've heard of this one before. It's conducted in around, I think, 2011, if you want to look it up.
15 years ago.
Yeah, so there's something called inference to the best explanation, right? There's like, for example, scientific studies that are still valid.
Hold on, is that National Institution?
I,
Is that Family of National Institute?
no, this one isn't the Family of National Institution, but I do have some from the Family of
Yeah, the Family of Institutes is a Christian-led study, so it'd be biased because they push an emphasis on.
Yeah,
marriage.
but that's just going to be a genetic fallacy, right? Are you familiar with what a genetic fallacy is?
It's not a fallacy at all. Essentially, they are going to be biased because they promote marriage.
Yeah. So what you're doing, right, is disregarding the source just because of where it comes from. That is a genetic fallacy.
Absolutely, like it's biased. Well, of
Yeah,
course,
you're not engaging with the content of the
We-
source. You're just
hold on.
engaging with where it comes from. That's a genetic fallacy.
You're assuming we've never read the source before. So,
Yeah, so what's the issue? Yeah, so can you give, instead of just saying, oh, it comes from a Christian institute, can you actually
They are
give
promoting
reasons
the
on
aspect
why?
of marriage, and therefore they are going to push that body count is the reason.
Once again,
why.
that doesn't address the methodology, the numbers.
They're going to push the reason that body count is an issue because they promote purity culture.
So once again, that's a genetic fallacy, right? You want to look up what a genetic. Once again, so can you haven't attacked anything of the methodology
It cannot
of
be
the.
validated from a biased source.
So you do realize everyone has biases, right? That just doesn't tell me anything about whether the study is valid or not, right? Like I'm gonna need.
Study.
Can you tell me like?
Don't have an agenda or bias to push.
So can you tell me like like an issue you have with the methodology or the numbers they use or anything that isn't a genetic fallacy?
Sorry, so like, are you trying to say then that, let's say like Donald Trump wanted to do a study, yeah, and he had a belief about what he wanted to push within that. You're telling me he can't push a narrative behind a
Once
study?
again, if the study has, if Donald Trump has a bias, but it's the case that the numbers correspond with his biases, then there's an issue.
He doesn't know because it's a
Yeah, and then I'm asking you what the specific numbers or methodology that they do that it makes this valid.
That's not what's needed. The point is you made the claim yourself, correlation. There's no causation of it.
So if Donald, in your analogy, right, if Donald Trump, right, has a bias, right, and it's the case that his bias lines up with reality, then that doesn't disprove the reality.
Because it's a correlation. It's not causation. So it doesn't tell
So
you.
I think you're confused on the terminology of causation. This has nothing to do with correlation and causation. This is
You were
just.
the one who said it. You were the one that said it has a strong correlation.
Yeah, so
I'm saying I'm not interested in correlation because
once again, yeah. So as I said in the beginning of the study, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, right, that I agree correlation doesn't equal causation. What I seek to do, right, is increase the probability of a proposition being true, right? You want to look it up. It's called a inductive argument, right? This is done. This is what the scientific method is built on, right? You do realize that, right?
And that's not increasing the probability of something happening.
You do realize correlations do lend credence to the proposition of what's called the.
Kitty has dropped a galaxy. Literally, I don't know how else we can word this. Like, it's the same narrative over and it's the same narrative over and over again, right? Essentially, if you are going to ask 1,000 people who had a divorce what their body count is, why would that be relevant if you are looking for the cause of a divorce in the first place? That you could just ask them, hey, why did you get a divorce? Racing J, you are very, 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 very much uneducated with that comment. So I'm going to drop you a mute until you request. Like, seriously, think about it. If you feel you need to do a study on something, when you can actually ask for the cause itself, then you are trying to push a narrative. Like, you can literally find out the answer. Why did you get a divorce? Oh, because they were abusive? Okay. What was your body count? Oh, your body count was 10? Must be that you're more likely. No, that's not exactly what causation does. CN, age and pronouns, please. Just as Lizzie has said in the chat, for anyone that's curious, every study literally says it can't be proven and needs more studying. But yet the ironic thing is that when they do these studies, they never actually ask the people, why did you get a divorce? Taylor, age and pronouns, please. Hello? Kinro, age and pronouns, please.
Low, 20, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Don't mention misandry till there's no misogyny.
What would you say about it?
I mean, I don't know why misandry would just be like pulled under the rug if there's misogyny going on. I wouldn't understand that.
I'm saying that like I'm saying men shouldn't be talking about misandry until there's no misogyny. Like,
At all?
Well, yeah, because if you actually get rid of misogyny, there would be no quote unquote misandry. So if you're talking about misandry, misogyny still remains if you find a way to get rid of misandry. So it's
How's that? Yeah, how's that correlate that if misogyny was to go, or misogyny was to go, misandry would also go?
Sure. So ask yourself this: do you think there's a reason why women are? I'm assuming you think misandry is when women are saying nasty things about men, because at the moment
No, like prejudice or hate or you
Yeah,
know.
so again, prejudice as a definition means without actual experience or reason. Women have an actual experience and have reason to not like their oppressors. So there's reasons for for what they say, right? There's
You can agree with the fact many women don't.
No, all women experience misogyny. We live in a patriarchy that's upheld by it. They can't avoid it.
I'm saying in terms of like, well, what's your definition of misogyny?
Ingrained hatred, prejudice towards women and girls.
And you're saying that you've experienced this by single male, or you're talking about like higher ups?
Well, everything that women like take part in within society, whether it's healthcare, whether it's media, whether it's socials, whether it's legal, whether it's rights, whether it's education, all of that has misogyny in it. It doesn't have misandry in it.
And so, because misandry might be a little, like it might be less of an issue, it doesn't mean you just, once again, like I'm saying, it's not to be mentioned. Both are issues that need to be fixed.
Yeah, but if men want to try and talk about misandry, they need to get rid of misogyny first.
I'm curious here how it correlates at all. Like, if somebody can still be a misandrist while also misogyny being gone just because of the previous experiences they've already went through.
So what would be the reason for women to hate men if men weren't doing anything to cause that hatred?
Well, let's just talk about this, right? It's in our society now. Racism is still very alive, but I'd say, well, no, I wouldn't say it's to a less of a degree, but I'd say that if racism was to completely go, there are still then past experiences a lot of individuals have faced, and from that, prejudice can very well still hold and even be as strong because it's history. It's rooted within history, and people can get very in their feelings about it.
There can be
Rightfully so.
There can be such thing as generational trauma, which can continue, absolutely. But then eventually, if you're living under a system that doesn't have any forms of racism, then at some point, the generations are going to outlive that, where they are living in a completely equal world. So yes, generations will still carry what they've experienced, but it doesn't change the fact that misandry was something that was coined 200 years ago. Patriarchy, up to 13,000 years. So why are men talking about misandry when the only example they could give of what misandry is women saying things like, I hate men? Is that it? Like that?
Saying things like what, sorry?
Things like, I hate men.
No, they can be different from, you're saying all they can say is, I hate men?
Sure, so can you give me examples of how misandry is affecting men right now?
How it can, or how it is?
How it is, like how are we seeing misandry affecting men collectively?
Well, there's many TikTok lives to go ahead and just berate men.
Live.
Well, no, it's an example. You're asking for an example. I'm giving you an example.
That's not systemic. That's just no different to men being on live saying the same thing about women.
But that would still be upholding misogyny, so I don't understand.
That's not misandry.
Misogyny, it would be, I'm saying if a man was to go on live stream and was to berate women, it would be upholding misogyny, and you could agree with that. But then how are you inconsistent with the fact that if a woman was to do the same thing, it wouldn't be upholding misandry?
Because it doesn't affect men after they hear that. What happens? Do men experience, great threats, unaliving threats? Do men get unalived disproportionately by women? Like, are men experiencing violence from women disproportionately? Like, what
So
are
are we
men?
talking about the same hypothetical here? Because I'm pretty sure I proposed the fact that on
Yeah,
this live stream that they're just being berated.
you're trying to do a tit for tat on misandry and misogyny because you think they're both equal in the ways that the behaviors play out. They're not. That's the point. When men
The
say
point
these
being, I
things,
gave you a specific hypothetical, and you've now drifted into this.
yeah,
Well,
because that's not an example of misandry. A woman saying they hate men is not misandry. That's just
hatred
jargon.
towards men. Do you know the definition of misandry?
Oh my god.
It's the exact
You
same as
said the
misogyny.
definition included prejudice.
Yes,
not prejudice if
it's not as if it's
actual
conjunctive.
experience and reasoning.
Yeah, you're acting as if it's conjunctive. It's not.
Well, it is because that's the system we live in. So women have a
You
reason.
could be upholding one of them and still be upholding misogyny or misandry.
No, misandry is just Darvo. You're just trying to deflect the issue, which is men upholding misogyny, and then thinking that women saying just the words "I hate men" is like, oh, that must mean it's misandry. It's like, what? Like, men, if you're going to argue that, then you'd have to argue that men uphold misandry more than women.
The fact that, well, I mean, lots of women also hate other women, so it just leads to a circle.
No, it doesn't, because men are disproportionately harming women. Women are not.
And what you're saying, hatred equates to? No, hatred doesn't just equate to violence. That's so disingenuous.
That's an example of ways that women.
Yeah, an example, but it's not. It's not. You're acting as if it's. Yeah, sure, but you're acting as if it's a literal. It's a need for that claim. It's not.
Yeah, it is. Of course, it is, because that's the ways in which women are affected by it, and you're not giving any examples.
Some
of how
ways it
men-
can be verbally, it can be physically, of course, but there's different ways.
Examples of how men are affected by it.
I just told you, easily being berated. I'm pretty sure you understand that there are misandrists out there who go ahead and if you let me talk, go ahead and speak down on men's mental health.
I'm not going to let you talk now when you're going to speak to me like that. Be respectful, or you can get muted. Darian, over to you, please.
Oh, nice one. So I just can't.
Not when you're going to be.
Not when you're being rude. 29, he, him. I'm back. I always find it interesting when we go on to have these conversations about the disproportionate violence against women and girls that men perpetuate. And we always get a man come up in here and they talk about misandry and its devastating effects to men, and that we should carry the same amount of weight for misandry that as we do misogyny. And the reality is that while these things are not done in equal, they're done disproportionately. They cannot be seen or taken as seriously as each other. And we see this in other examples, right? When we look at the different oppressive systems, and we are seeing the way that the society treats Black people and Asian people, we don't then go, oh, well, at least we shouldn't. We shouldn't then go on about, oh, what about the white people that have Black people being mean to them? What about it? Black people have history and experiences on their side to justify why they feel the way they do about white people. And the same thing happens with women. Women have a history and experience and facts to back up the reason for why they feel the way they do about men. And yet somehow we always get men come in here and they're in their feelings. And I want it noted down for everyone in here to know that men are allowed to have their feelings. No one is telling them that they can't. However, when we're talking about the oppression of women and girls, the violence against women and girls, and this violence isn't just physical, it's medical, it's financial, it's educational, it's across multiple sectors within our society that this violence occurs. That while we're talking about this, your feelings on any of it mean nothing. And that's going to feel also uncomfortable for you, because it probably feels like I'm like dismissing your feelings, and I'm not. You're allowed to have your feelings. They just don't mean anything in this conversation. And so what I want you to do is take a moment to, before you, because you're going to come off mute and try to bark at me with what you think we should be taking seriously, or what you think, instead of actually listening to the subject of what I'm talking about. So before you do that, I really want you to have a think about just one thing for me. Please, right now, off the top of your head, list the ways in which men are oppressed by women across the educational sector, across the financial sector, the education sector, the medical sector. Please don't come off mute just to bark. Take a moment and talk to me about this make-believe oppression that you think men are being subjected to at the hands of women. Because if you can give me stuff that we can go ahead and look up and quantify, then maybe you might have something to actually a point to land on. Maybe we've gotten it wrong or somewhere along the line. However, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you led with your feelings and you don't have that. So before you come off mute, please have a think about the way in which women are oppressing men across those sectors. Please.
Guess you can unmute.
Yeah, for one, it doesn't have to be widespread. I think you're making a misconception there that it has to be widespread.
You're pivoting already. I'm asking you to think about it. You're pivoting already.
Oh wow. Yeah, you want to hear me talk, or do you want to just keep talking over me?
Answer the question.
This isn't a fucking discussion.
Then answer it. Don't get rude again.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so can I answer, or are you just gonna talk over me again?
Answer the question. Don't pivot.
I appreciate it. Right. There's many ways in which you can. All right. Have you not saw in courts when women will go ahead and lie about the fact that they've been?
Pause.
I can say, 100%. Pause now. Now it's pause.
Lie about what?
When the fact this many people have been subject to this, there was a little actor that got caught not guilty not long ago. He's a British actor. I think it's called Michael Ward.
Pause. So you think that one of the ways in which women are oppressing men is that less than 5% of the court cases that make it to trial, when it comes to the great essay and harm that women perpetuate, you think that or I think it's like less than 3% of that 5% of trial that make it to trial actually end up being false, and that number is so minute that you're more likely to actually have committed the crime against another man than you are to experience a woman actually doing that to you, about actually lying about that to you. You're more likely, statistically, to commit the crime of essaying another man than you are to ever experience having a woman lie about you in regards to essay or grape. Trigger warning, chat. That is a categorical fact. That is not a way in which men are being oppressed by women. Try again.
It is
please.
100%. Are you acting as if something has to be widespread?
I've already explained to you how it's wrong. How you're wrong. You're spreading misinformation. Try a different sector, please. Try. I did tell you to think about it
one more time.
I did tell you to think about it before you come off mute. You didn't want to listen. You came at me with something that I can constitute as BS. I'm telling you that number is so minuscule, you will never see. You are statistically more likely to have done it to another man than you will ever be in a court case for someone lying about you. Because most rapists do not spend a day in jail. So, I suggest you think about it and come at me with another sector.
Can I talk now?
Are you going to come at me with something legit, or am I going to have to interrupt you for misinformation again?
It seems you're interrupting a lot, so
if you're spreading misinformation, I'm allowed to do that. I'm a mod. I have that privilege. That's just the way things are. So, wow. What else? What else would you like to do?
The same exact route.
I've already expressed how that's wrong. So try again.
Oh, because your word is just fact in a debate.
You can go and search it up if you would.
It's called a fucking debate, bro.
Right,
it's not a debate.
Stop, everyone.
If I can't express my opinion, what is the point of me being here?
I'm going to ask you to be quiet, please. Thank you. Once again, lots of interruptions, primarily from the guest. The live is becoming inaccessible, okay, for those that access this place with screen readers and more, okay? Now, everything that Darian has said is based on facts. Everything is based on studies. Now, as a woman mod in this space who's harmed frequently, like all the other women and femme and mods, and in other lives that are hosted by women and femme people, and black and brown women and trans women, we are frequently harmed. But we do run this space with facts. This is not a debate. So if you've got facts that you would like to provide regarding how misandry harms men systemically, please do. But what Darian has said is statistically correct. You may unmute yourself now, guest. If you continue to interrupt, you will be dropped for derailing this live.
I'm not interrupting nobody. So
Oh,
I think
you
got
have
that
been,
confused.
trust me.
Oh, like I just wasn't interrupted 2 seconds ago?
Do you have sources to provide how misandry harms men systemically or not?
Yes, I just told you. I'll discuss it if you're not going to interrupt me and say that your point is word for the 5th time. If that makes sense in your brain, then I can continue. Go ahead
Right,
and
get
say
out
it.
of here. We're not doing ableism. Vile.
I think the guest doesn't understand what oppression means.
Right.
I think the
Right.
guest is disingenuous and frankly vile and doesn't respect or care about women, and he's just here for a debate.
Mm-hmm. He's a debate bro.
Exactly, my love. Exactly. And thank you, Darian. Thank you, Lex, as well, for presenting the facts as ever. Yeah. I'll drop now. Probably
Yeah.
best for
I won't be long after you. Just to
Okay,
make it
better.
abundantly clear for everyone, for those that are new here, as mods, we have the power to interrupt whenever misinformation or harmful rhetoric is put upon by the guest. We have that power. It is one of the many rules and tenets. Hello, you need to say something.
It's just the word power, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
It
yeah.
says at the start that mods will interrupt and mute if necessary.
Right,
And ultimately,
right.
if mods do that, that's just being respectful to the live. Ultimately,
Right. It's one of the tenets about coming in here is that understanding that that it's one of the things that we do while this live is run. It's the way we run it, and I want everyone to understand something is that we are so comfortable. If there were 10 people in here, we're happy. We're okay. We will sit in here, and the 10 people will be mostly made up of mods, and then a few of the other people. We're happy to sit in here and do this. And so, what I mean by that is that if you don't like the way things are ran, please go and find somewhere else. There are other spaces where you get to do what you want, where you get to be ableist, where you get to say, be rude to the mods, where you get to disrespect it. There are other places for that. This is not the space. And so, when people like that are spreading misinformation, and I want to make it clear for everyone as well, I did give him the opportunity to think about the question that I asked, because I wasn't I knew what he was trying to do. He was only going to open his mouth to respond, and I didn't want that. I wanted to actually engage in an honest conversation. He didn't want to do that, and as a result, I had to correct him, and I did. The statistics that I spewed off, these are based in facts, and he doesn't like that. It's not our job to coddle you. I don't think women should have to coddle men through their misogyny. We, as men who are educating men, do not have to coddle men in their misogyny. No marginalized community owes their oppressors any kind of kindness. Anyway, I will drop. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Love you, my handsome man. I will see you soon. Oh, don't you smile at me. I'm blushing now. Ha ha ha. Bye bye.
Hello. Right, let's go with Dutch, who was really defending the previous guest who had nothing interesting to say. Adrian Parnell.
Yo, so I'd like to say, right? I'd like to say, you fell for the rage bait. You fucking.
Okay. Goodbye, Dutch. Never come back. So the reason I did that was because it just kind of shows how many men out there want to defend men that uphold harm. Ryan, age and pronouns, please.
There we are. Hello?
There we go. Age and pronouns, please.
So I didn't actually. That's the thing I was going to mention is that whenever people are talking, there's some like microphone attenuation in that. Like if the guest is speaking, it lowers your voice. I don't know if it's something you can fix on your end. I don't know what kind of access to settings you have, but like like for example, right now when I'm speaking, if you speak over me, your voice is lowered and it's harder to hear you.
Okay. Can I get your age and pronouns?
19, he, him.
Thank you. Which prompt do you disagree with?
Body count doesn't matter.
Okay. What do you want to say about it?
Well, I think that people have certain qualities or attributes about people that they find pertinent in a relationship, like, I don't know, like political affiliation or religion, or, I don't know, whether or not somebody drinks, for example. So I think body count is just another one of those things that people like to filter with in terms of, well, will I think this person is a suitable partner based on their body count?
Okay. Can you tell me why you have an issue with a woman's body count?
I just think that it demonstrates a certain mindset or lifestyle that I disagree with.
Okay. So what is the lifestyle, or what is the mindset that you think that individual has?
Let's say it was like, may I use something, a different example to get my point across?
Well, I'd rather focus on your issue with body count. So I just want to ask direct questions to get an understanding of how you've come to this conclusion. So,
okay.
What would be the reason that you think about, what is it you think about her mindset?
It would be, let's say it was like a high number, something in the, I don't know, like 30s, 50s, I don't know, something like that. It would be the idea that that a relationship, like, okay, let's say if it's a high number, they've slept with a lot of people, they might view relationships as being semi-impermanent, or, you know, ethereal, coming and going, this kind of idea. So perhaps she may view me in the same way, right? Like, for example, if somebody's cheated in the past, then they're likely to cheat in the future, that kind of idea. So in the same way, if somebody's slept with a lot of people in the past, either I may just be another one of the people they're going to sleep with, or they may not view this relationship, they may not view this relationship they may view this relationship with an equal amount of commitment as they did to the past ones.
But because you keep on using words like may, what you're doing is you're suggesting that it could happen, and that's what the insecurity is. When I say it's rooted in misogyny or insecurities, your reasons there are demonstrating insecurities, because you think you could be another number. You think that she won't connect with you because she might want to be with you for a bit and be with someone else.
Right.
So that's why I say that it's rooted in number two. I don't think it's bad that people have insecurities, but that's not a body count issue. That's that individual's insecurity issue. Because someone else who doesn't care about a woman's body count wouldn't have that insecurity present. They would just have the same body count presented to them and interpret it differently. Your interpretation is driving that insecurity.
It's not an insecurity, it's just a reservation, you know?
That's literally an insecurity, right? You're reserving yourself over something that's not factual, so you're making an assumption that it could be dangerous.
Would it be insecure of me to assume that if somebody's cheated in the past, they may cheat in the future?
Yeah.
That would be an insecure assumption.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean she's going to or he's going to just because they've done it once.
Even if it's repeated?
Right, so when you say repeated, you're now looking at patterns of behavior.
Yeah, that's what
you know. Okay, but the difference is cheating causes actual harm to people. Body count doesn't. Having schmecks doesn't.
Right.
You're looking at someone who has, out of their choice, chosen to intentionally harm someone else by betraying their trust. So that is a reflection on the way that they might have, if it's multiple times, by the way, that is a reflection on how they don't maybe respect someone's trust or boundaries in a relationship. Whereas body count doesn't give you that information. It doesn't tell you whether or not they're going to cheat. It doesn't tell you whether they're respectful. It doesn't tell you whether they've got a good sense of humor, which are characteristics of an individual that you might want to get to know.
On the respectful point, do you not think that it's indicative of somebody who's lacking self-respect if they have a high body count?
Definitely not. I think when men use that, that's where the misogyny comes in.
Right.
Equating schmecks to self-respect is saying
I
that
would
someone.
I would say that for the men and women. I don't mean
I
particularly.
know, I hear that, but the problem is when men say this, they think that it removes the misogyny just because they say the same towards men. It doesn't, right? It's like if I hate a football team and I go and hate another football team, just because I hate that other football team doesn't mean I don't hate the original one, right? So saying it towards women, but then going, but I also say it towards men, doesn't remove you saying it to women as well. So that still upholds the misogyny towards women. Because women have always been judged for their bodies. Women have always been told and policed that
What
their
I mean-
bodies. Sorry, go on.
What I mean by I also apply it towards men is that it's not like I have this standard for women and I'm retroactively applying it to men. I'm like as in like if I'm critical or prejudiced towards all races, and I couldn't be racist, you know, because I don't have a prejudice for a specific race. I'm not targeting my hatred towards someone in particular. I'm saying that this is a standard that I'd apply for both genders, and there's no.
Hold on, if you did that to all races, you'd still be racist.
Or as in, like, I wouldn't be. That would just be not racist in the sense. No, not racist in the sense that like you. Now this you just call that a hateful person rather than somebody who's, you know what I mean?
No, you would call them racist.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Because it's being done on the basis of race.
But I guess I'm not getting my point, because that's what I mean is it's not based on the basis of gender. It's just a standard that I'd apply.
Yeah, but the issue is what you're not recognizing is that rhetoric that you're upholding towards women is something that has always been oppressive towards women, and oppression is upheld through misogyny. So you reinstating that same belief system is basically saying, yeah, that thing that always oppressed women in the past and still does today, I believe that. I agree with that. Saying that you now also think about that towards men doesn't remove that, because the consequences for both are completely different.
Right.
If you say you judge a man by his body count, that does nothing to men. That doesn't change anything for men. You say it towards women, it does, because women get the S slur. They get compared in ways where, you know, value is attached to a woman's body count, whereas men's aren't. And if anything, men's value in history and sometimes to the present day has gone up based on the more amount of partners they have, because they're supposedly more desirable. You know, if a man can attract that many women, he's got something going for him. But if a woman can attract that many men, she's an SLAG. You know, like, so applying it the same doesn't mean the outcome has been the same.
Okay, so what if this is just something that somebody has as a preference, just because it's a quality that they, even if it's not based on a presumption, an insecure presumption, like they may do this, it's just something they prefer. Like, for example, Muslims would rather be in a relationship with other Muslims, right?
Let's not go down the route of race. You keep on going on to race, right? You can give plenty of examples of things, right? Again, preferences are rooted in something. So you having a preference for a woman with a lower body count, there's a reason for it. And some of the reasons you've indicated earlier might have been potentially self-respect, or because they might not leave you for the next person. So that's the insecurity, right? Your preference is based on feeling a certain way about it.
What if you believe this of yourself? What if you believe I'm a self-respecting person, therefore I don't sleep with others? I project that the others who don't do this aren't self-respecting. Like, if somebody also had a high body count and then they said high body count for women matters, I guess I'd understand completely where you're coming from. But if somebody also has a low body count and they believe that a low body count is indicative of somebody with self-respect because they believed themselves to be somebody who has self-respect due to that characteristic.
You've just admitted it, right? Is that it was a projection?
Yeah, I mean, it would be them projecting their view of themselves.
No, you're projecting that she's got low self-respect because you say that you live by that standard. You're saying that you're saying I don't sleep with many women because I have self-respect. And then when you find a woman who does sleep with a lot of men, you're saying that must mean she doesn't have self-respect because the way I've lived my life is different to her, and I believe mine to be right and hers to be wrong, or whatever word you want to use there to describe the fact that you think that what you've done is a good thing and hers is a bad. So you're projecting that belief onto her and saying, this individual who I've met has no self-respect or low self-respect because she's chosen to have sex with people. That doesn't make it true. That's just your judgment of her, which comes back to the prejudice, which comes back to the misogyny.
So that's where the disconnect for me is lying. How does that make it misogynist if it's the belief of oneself?
Because you're projecting that belief onto women and saying that if women don't have the same belief as you, then you view them as low self-respect. You're judging her by saying that she is a low self-respecting individual because she's chosen to consensually, bodily choice, bodily autonomy, to have sex with other people.
Yeah, but in my mind, it's just that I'm holding the people who are the closest to me to the same standard that I have of myself.
Okay, but why would her... Yeah, but only on the basis that you think they've got no self-respect, which is not a fact. You're labeling that individual. That's why you're saying you want to be with similar people, because you think other people have low self-respect. That's quite a harmful thing to say about someone else who's chosen to do something with their body that they want to do. It doesn't mean they have low self-respect. That's just your opinion of them. I'm saying that's a harmful opinion to have.
Right.
Because self-respect is not measured by how many people you've had sex with.
No, it isn't. But then, how does somebody define self-respect if it doesn't come from some subjective standard?
So again, it can, but what's led you to believe that that is the defining view of self-respect, is that it has to link to sex? Why is that a representation of her having low self-respect? Someone who wants to enjoy something that sex is also, a part of, enjoying parts of your body, enjoying exploring those moments with other people. Why should women have to limit the amount of times they do that to then be deemed as more respectful?
It's something that should be enjoyed with somebody who you're committed to. And if you've done it with a lot of people, then you're not committed to them.
So you've done it again, right? You think that it should be done that way. So you're upholding all of the beliefs that you think it should be, and if she doesn't agree with it, she's low self-respect.
So how do I create a standard for self-respect if I only have my subjective opinion?
Why does it have to be on the basis of what other people do? Like, why does it have to mirror yours? Right? You could meet someone and you could find that she is a very respectful individual. Right? Let's rephrase it. How would you find out if someone has self-respect if you didn't ask them anything about how many people they've had sex with? How would you know that about someone?
Maybe you'd ask them how they interact with people, how they carry themselves.
You'd experience that because you're getting to know them yourself. So if you're dating someone and you experience what it's like to be with them, they could be respectful to you. So if you can show it in a variety of ways, and it's not limited to just how many people you've had sex with, you could meet someone who you believe to be very self-respecting and very respectful to other people. But then months down the line, you could find out her body count's 40. And then what you're going to do? You're going to say, oh, now she's not got any self-respect. That wouldn't make sense because you've experienced what it's like to be with her and you've experienced that respect yourself. Because otherwise also, where does it end, right? Like, why wouldn't that stop men saying, well, she's had sex with a lot of men, she's not trustworthy. Well, she's had sex with a lot of men, she's got a terrible sense of humor. She's had sex with a lot of men, she's not going to be respectful. Like, where does that then stop that men can just go, I think that that's what it represents, so she must now be all of these other things, because I could just say any of them.
Right.
That doesn't define who she is as an individual.
Would you call somebody who limits their partners to people with low body counts? Would you call a man who limits his partners to people with low body counts as misogynist then?
No, as I said earlier, I think it's more an insecurity. I think it's misogynistic if you're judging the other person for the choices they've made, especially if it's a woman. But I would say it's more insecurity, because what you're doing is you're thinking that you getting into this relationship with her, there are going to be like warning signs or dangers that you need to be aware of just because she's had sex with other people. And I'm saying like that is you kind of setting yourself up to think that this is going to fail before it's even begun. So what you'd rather do is just say, you know what, I'm not going to bother. You've had sex with 20 men. In my mind, that's too much. You've got low self-respect. I'm done. And what you've done is you basically said that she is the problem rather than saying, actually, my view of her is the problem. because it is your view of her. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that she is someone who has no self-respect. You just think that.
Please excuse if this is a poor argument, but what if it comes to fruition that it wasn't going to work out because of it doesn't work out?
Sure. So again, if it doesn't work out, why does it have to be because of her body count? Like why? Like it could like maybe not work out because of a variety of reasons, right? There could be abuse. There could be arguments. There could be a lack of emotional connection between the two of you. There's so many reasons why relationships can break down, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's because she has a high body count.
Right.
There's relationships now that go on where people's body counts are 1 or 2 and they still break down because something else is the reason why they're not compatible. All of these breakups that we have, there's loads in the world. Loads of people like break up, loads of people get divorces, etc. But they're not doing it because body count. They're doing it because there's been a breakdown in communication or there's been a behavior that's existed that's like a betrayal of trust. No one gets together and then goes 2 years later, do you know what? I don't really want to be with you anymore because your body count is high. You know what I mean? That doesn't do anything for anyone,
Right.
And the last way that I try and flip it is this. Any behavior that you think is linked to someone's body count, I would say put yourself in a situation in your mind where you are never allowed to ask a woman her body count and ask yourself how you would ever be able to get into a relationship with a woman. What things would you be looking for?
I don't know. Intellectual ability, or the things that will be self-evident, like how she treats people, how she carries herself, perhaps the way that she evaluate or her emotional response to things, maybe how she evaluates certain situations on an emotional level, stuff like that.
So her emotional intelligence and her intellect?
Yeah.
Anything else? I think there's a lot of women out there that have both those things. So is there anything more specific towards you that like something maybe of a similar interest or things that you want in the future that align? Hobbies?
Do you mean me, literally me personally?
Yeah, look, genuinely, if you were single, I don't know if you are already, but I'm just going to say, if you were single and you weren't ever allowed to ask a woman her body count, you're not going to stop dating. You're still probably going to date. So how are you going to know that you've met someone that you could commit to?
I would ask her if she drinks or if she does substances, if she, what her opinions are on children, and whether or not she believes that having children is a moral good. I would ask her, I would ask her opinions on minorities like the LGBTQ community, and whether or not she believes that things like white privilege exist. I don't know, like this. I don't know. It would be like things that like evaluate her character. This is more to do with intelligence, to be honest with you. Like things that like evaluate her character in that sense. I don't know.
Okay, for the safety of this live and like where that could go, let's just say that her views aligned with akin to yours.
Yeah.
Right. At what point would you say to yourself, I could be in a relationship with her? What would you need to like experience from her on that front?
I'm gonna be honest. I might just be misunderstanding what you're saying. It looked like I wasn't. You look confused in my response, so I might just not be following. Where are we going with this?
The point I'm trying to make is that if you couldn't know a woman's body count, you would still get to know who she is as an individual by being with her, experiencing what it's like to be around her. Then you can make judgments based on your actual experience of how she has been with you. So if you went on a date with her and then 2 days later your mates say, how was it? And you go, oh my God, she was hilarious. That's because you've witnessed it. You've experienced this sense of humor and you can go, she's really funny, right? So if all of those other things that are great that you're looking for, I'm trying to say that that can be apparent based on someone that has a high body count or a low body count.
Right.
So if you actually flipped it by ignoring body count and got to know the individual for who they were as a person, then you'd be seeing them as an individual. You would not be dehumanizing them by saying a number tells me more about you than me getting to know you yourself.
Okay. I'm sorry that I misunderstood your question. I'm autistic. I may have answered that incorrectly. My apologies.
No, honestly, it's fine. Like, I'd rather us clarify on it. But look, I'm going to be live more during the week, so if you want to come back, that's absolutely fine.
You don't. We can't discuss another topic.
Haven't really got too much time because I've still got another 6 people waiting to join as well. So I want to try and squeeze one more guest in. But if you want to come back tomorrow, I'll be live tomorrow.
Okay, cool. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you then.
Cheers,
Have a
Ryan.
nice day. Have a nice
Bye.
life.
Bye-bye. I've got to have a nice life as well. That's very nice. All right, I'll turn the comments back on. I was advised to turn them off because the chat, you've been told many a times, please be respectful to what the mods are asking, are advising, as well as to the guests as well. Mark, last one, I think. Kitty, hello.
Hi. No, it's just to keep you in the loop. Kitty42, she, her. It's beyond just about disrespect and things like that. There's people coming in to deliberately harm the mods now, and target the mods, just to be very, very clear. So anyone that's coming in to do that, you will be immediately removed from this space. If you come back on several all accounts, you will also be blocked. If you think you're going to come in and target the mods, you've got another thing coming. Okay? We are very quick to mute. We're very quick to block. Chat, he's also have been incredibly disrespectful to many tonight as well. So it's not a case, but the harm is going beyond the disrespect from chat and things tonight. Mods are single-handedly now getting targeted. This is what we deal with here. If you come back and keep doing this, please know you will get reported. It's as simple as that. Or we'll remove the chat, okay, for the remainder of lives if this keeps continuing. It's gone from disrespect to mods now being targeted. Do better. Anyway, just keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
It's bad tonight. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Natalia, I caught it. Thank you. Koru, age and pronouns, please. Hello. Hi, age and pronouns, please.
26, he, him. So I just wanted to talk about all men until no men.
Sure, do you know what it means?
So what is it that you're saying? Can you define it for me?
Yeah, so all men hold on to misogyny and have responsibility to unpack it. Women's biggest form of oppression is gender-based violence, and so women being wary and cautious of all men is completely understandable.
So would you not say the generalization of any group is harmful?
So when you're keeping the oppressors and the oppressed in the same narrative of the point that's being made, that's absolutely fine.
So then would you not say it's harmful if you use that same logic and you apply it to saying something like, I don't know, black people
So as I
have
said,
high rates of crime?
As I said, if black people were to say the same thing towards whitey people, that would be understandable because white supremacy.
But I asked you, is it okay to say about black people? Because people often cite statistics and stuff.
And I just said to you no, because you've switched oppressive groups. I said if you keep the oppressive groups in the same way towards the phrase, then that's fine. You didn't do that, you switched it.
Logic is the same, is it not?
No, because black people are not oppressing white people, men are oppressing women.
I'm talking about crime in general, the statistics. So is it not okay to say all black people are criminals? So why is it okay to say men, all men?
Because men are the oppressors, men have the privilege, men have the power, so therefore men are the ones upholding the harm disproportionately. When you try to deflect that onto BLK people, that's not the same. BLK people have never had the systemic power and are never oppressed white people. So no, you would be looking at systemic disadvantages and barriers that they have
But
faced.
it's okay to say black people harm women.
I didn't say that, I said men.
Black men, is that including black men? Is that including gay men? Is that including trans men? When you make that statement, is that what that means, is what I'm asking?
Yes, it's inclusive of all men. That's why it says all men. And you've now got a violation because of your rhetoric. So, no surprise. Right, we are going to move on to, we're just going to do a couple of, maybe one battle because yeah, that hasn't been a